Just a note before we get into today's episode, the camera that was filming this episode turned off at an unknown point during the recording, and that is why you will hear us mention filming even though there is no video. Cheers.
Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast episode with me, your host, Daniel.
Today's episode is a little bit different. We've got Daniel here, as he's gone, and the other three of us. We didn't really address last time why Daniel wasn't there, but
a lot of
these,
shit.
any of these episodes that are going to be
out.
Any of these episodes that are going to be filmed, Daniel will not be in person right now because he's not here, but the rest of us are. So
Don't say where I am. No one knows. That's a
we're
false
going
window.
to dox Daniel right now. Yeah, but let's say we get right into the killing.
Okay, I will add it to this.
Daniel, what you got to say about Kill la Kill?
Am I doing it? Am I going ahead with this?
Were you not the one that suggested this? I
No,
feel
that's a
like
good point. I suggested this because I thought out of the topics we created to talk about, fan service is very close to my heart, and so I was like, what's a show that does really good fan service, and has a lot of it, but is still like widely accepted and like considered a good show? I was like, Kill la Kill. That's the show. Lots of fan service the whole time. Like, there was watching it a second time. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, make sure my door is locked. But like, it's really good. And then throughout the whole series, just like they really distribute out the fan service to every character. And I was like, I wanted your opinions on that, because I know we have some bad opinions about fan service, or we have a range. From Nicole to Nick, and then whatever Gus is on that range.
that sounds like a range. Sounds like a scatter plot.
No, the range is as far as you can go on either side, and then right smack in the middle.
I don't know if you're in the middle.
No.
You're just kind of like somewhere.
I feel like I'm in the middle, actually, between Nicole and Nick.
When did I become?
I'm the range.
When did I become the fan service?
Yeah.
I don't think you're specifically the fan service man. I just think you gravitate towards stories that
Or
are
do you levitate towards stories?
that tend to have more fan service.
Here's the thing, though. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that Monogatari has a lot, but
that's not what I'm talking about. I mean like, what's a good example?
I mean, that man watched Fairy Tail.
Yeah, but like...
That is a 10 out of 10 fucking impeccable piece of art, alright? Come on now.
I'm not dissing Fairy Tail as a show, I'm just saying... I mean, like, there are other people who watch lots of fan service.
That's true, and I don't think you're the fan service guy, but I think that because you watch a ton of shonen romance... Like, not a ton, but compared to
you got me there, you got me there.
There's a lot of
That's
fan service in the shonen romance.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, alright, I'll accept my title as the fan service man. That works.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, for me at least, before I like get into any of the stuff that I wrote down about, I was taking notes. I was wanting to. I saw something. And I was
I'm
like,
just raw dogging this. I have many opinions, and I'll just.
There was a lot where, as Daniel had mentioned, like it was a really good show.
True,
and
I agree.
For me, I don't know if Nicole did the same for you, but for me, it was like the fan service just made an already good show better. Because, yes, it was making a mockery of fan service in shows, but to do that, they had to have a lot of fan service, and that's not a drawback.
Yeah, I actually liked Kill la Kill a lot more than I thought it was good. I really liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Just to get my opinion out there, fan service-wise, Kiryuin's Senketsu, or was hers Junketsu?
Kamui?
Senketsu. Yeah, it's Senketsu.
Her Senketsu, that looked better. Hers
No, you're doing it all wrong. Okay, hers is called. They are called Kamuis because that's the name of the thing. Okay. 100% life feathers. Yep. Hers is called Junketsu.
Hers is Junketsu. Okay.
Come on now.
That's
not that hard.
I'm sorry.
Pretty easy. Okay, maybe you should have been taking notes.
So Satsuki
has Junketsu and Matoi has Senketsu.
Yeah. And in my opinion, Satsuki's Senketsu transformation so much better than
I feel like we should preface we don't know if everyone's seen Kill la Kill.
If you haven't,
maybe a little bit of a spoiler warning, as well as like a slight recap.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Kill la Kill, we're gonna spoil it. Be warned.
Yep, that is what we're gonna do.
Pretty much all of the show. That's how these discussions are gonna work.
Okay.
We're gonna open these?
We're opening these.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Daniel, sucks to be you.
Time
You
for our
know.
sponsored segment.
I would like to
Sorry.
admit, not even admit. I'm not admitting anything. I was roasted last week for supplying the drinks that were 0 sugar.
This is good.
I was roasted by Nicole here, who brought, I don't know if you can see,
What's in there? Nick?
0 sugar.
0 sugar.
Shit unplugged. Like me currently. Let's go.
Why is mine?
Don't worry about it.
Is this the same size as the Astolfo
I
one?
think the what?
This is 12 fluid ounces.
No, it's not the same size.
Was the Astolfo
monster
one
can.
bigger?
It's a monster can that's bigger.
Yeah, the monster one was big.
Yeah.
Imagine not
What are
knowing
you
what we're
talking about?
You wouldn't
Yeah.
get it, bro. One of my personal top 10 favorite images on the internet.
I don't even want to think about what this is. I don't want to think about what you're referencing.
So
I don't think
Kill
I
la
need to
Kill,
know.
right?
So basically, hold on. Gus
Redacted.
already gave us the explicit tag. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to say it. But basically, there's this epic image out there.
I can
of-
picture.
Want me
what
to
this
pull
is.
up this
I
image?
think-
It's an Astolfo. Yeah, he can show you, but it's an Astolfo cosplayer holding up one of those really tall monster cans, referencing it as a size for something.
You know what? That is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's not like a remake of the glass jar video.
Yeah, I was a little concerned.
Damn.
Hopefully, we never stray into
Can't find the actual image.
that dark of a time ever again. I didn't want to think about that today.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kill la Kill.
Back to thinking
Kill la
about
Kill.
something else. Kill la Kill.
Kill
Well,
me.
I love it. It's about this young aspiring
Starting it
person
off with young.
seeking revenge
Really?
for her father's
Finally.
death. Ryuko, is it Matoi or Mautoi?
Matoi.
Matoi.
Matoi? Okay.
Yeah.
She's like
Like that search?
she got the scissor sword, right? And she's like, the person who killed my dad has the other half of the scissor. And then the student council president, Satsuki, was like, what did you like to know? And then that's the show.
Yeah.
They
Can I
get
pause
these
you right
dope-
there? Let's, for the sake of everyone, not do a verbal recap of the entire 24 episodes.
no.
of the
Okay,
show.
let's go episode by episode, alright? I'll
The
pull up the
entire
Netflix
school
thing.
is run by people with like Goku uniforms, which give them powers from 1 to 3 stars, and then the main character and the antagonist have cooler Goku uniforms,
Yeah.
essentially.
So this gets into. I'm gonna open my notes now.
Lovely.
Because I had one thing written down at least. Well, I had a couple things written down about Satsuki.
My boy.
But
Get out of here.
what do I got here? Well, so here I'll go through. I was taking episode by episode notes for the first 2, and then I was having too many notes, so I had to stop them. But for episode,
Once he got to 3 pages
Yeah,
per
my-
episode,
It was
he's
like,
like,
this is
okay.
too much.
well, we'll go my episode 1 notes. We've got what the fuck is going on. That was note 1. Then weird military school surrounded by slums. Then golf ball bitch is annoying. Golf ball bitch was Mankanshoku. I didn't know her name yet, so it was golf ball bitch. Trying to find the other half of her scissors, and then this outfit is poggers. That's what I had for episode 1.
Oh my god.
What did I mean by some of these? God, some of these. Okay.
Dude was just writing shit down.
Episode 2, I said uniform needs blood? ? Then it was the opening, and I would like to say the same artist that did a lot of the Monogatari openings, which all slap, also did the first Kill la Kill opening, which was a banger. Meg Rock only makes bangers. Then
Truly.
I said addressing the service. And I don't know what that means, or what I was
Addressing
thinking.
the service.
Or what I was thinking
Well,
about.
we could
fan
jump right
service,
into.
Yeah, but that's so broad.
Addressing the
Addressing
service.
the service.
We could jump into their like Sailor Moon like transformations, except
This
like
is something I was gonna talk about this, and this is the claim I'm making, and I will stick to this no matter what. I think that Kill la Kill is a magical girl anime.
I don't think that's that much of a claim. I think it's pretty.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
There are girls and they are magical.
And they have a little transformation and they get a cute little outfit.
True.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Outfit.
You know what? I'm gonna call it a cute little outfit. Because if I saw that, I would be like, that's a cute little outfit.
Who has the best outfit?
I like the band bitch. What's her name? I don't know.
Which version of hers? Because they have 3 versions.
Something
of
with a J.
I like the one. I
the
like
skimpy last one, the big second one, and then the normal.
None.
I like this. I think I like the skimpy last one.
The skimpy last one was pretty good.
She had a good outfit. I also liked the Master Taylor's outfit. She was kind of fucking cool. She was a good character.
Gamagori's outfit was pretty poggers, especially the first time you see it when they really before they showed you it in color. They basically, I was like, when I see what this actually looks like, I was half expecting dude to just be covered in latex with like a ball gag in his mouth. Like that was what I thought was gonna happen when we first saw it. But
my favorite outfit is the Fight Club leader Mako.
I had a note in here.
That was
the
a
JoJo's
gas
hat,
outfit.
the Jotaro hat that she was wearing. Like when I first saw it, I was like, big coat, hat, like gold. I was like, that looks that. I was like, that's gonna be a JoJo. And then I saw the hair on the back of the hat, and I was like, yeah.
I love that bitch. She made that show. It would not have been as good without her.
There was also when I don't know if you guys remember this. It was when everyone was gonna get turned into clothes, like they were having the athletics club thing, and it was the Mako's family, and they were like, oh god, I don't remember exactly the words, but it was like the dad, and he was like, so will there be catering? And then it was like, they were talking to the
they're talking to Gamagori.
Because, and he was like, yes. And they were like, we will show up.
We will be there.
I love her family. Her family made the entire show. They grounded it because it's a very like fucking action battle shonen with fan service, which is an interesting combination. Yeah. But her, like Mako's family is a thing that makes it like funny and relatable.
Normally I'm not a big fan of like sort of frantic comedy, but her like the way they did her family was a pretty good use of like frantic comedy. Just meaning like every time they're on, it's like and that's why it's funny. Like they managed to do that in a way where I wasn't sitting there like 20 more episodes of them peeping on them in the shower, because every time they peeped on them in the shower, we got a shower scene.
See, here's the thing, and I think part of the reason this is part of the reason why the fan service didn't bother me a ton. First of all, I'm not immune to fan service, and I'm not straight, so I enjoyed the show. But also, because the art style is so interesting, I wasn't like, this is obscene. I was like, this is fun.
Trigger's art style is for not being like overly different from everything else. Yeah. The like subtleties in their style are super obvious.
Yeah.
Especially in their fight scenes. If anyone saw their stuff in the Star Wars Visions episodes over the winter, the episode that they did was super...
The one with the siblings, right?
The one with the siblings fight. It was very Trigger-esque. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was them. But...
No way.
They were still animated.
it was them. They did it.
It looked super familiar. I was like, I've seen this before. And then I'm rewatching Kill la Kill. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is where it's from. This is them.
Yeah.
Love that.
And the same thing with Darling in the Franxx, too. Like, the...
They do Darling in the Franxx? Yeah. Why did I not know that?
You didn't even finish that.
Yeah, that's true.
You watched
it wasn't worth it. I watched four.
Their like style of sort of coloring, like under and around the eyes, is super. Like for that seeming, like if you thought about that, you might think it's a normal anime thing to do, but they very much made that style like their own.
Because the thing about anime animation that's very different than manga is that the artists have to simplify the art style to a point where it is like. They can draw whatever amount of frames of it. Even if some of it is automated, like, they still have to draw thousands of frames.
Is Kill la Kill based on a manga?
That's a good question.
Because I know Darling in the Franxx wasn't, and Trigger did that.
Yeah.
Was Gundam? Because Trigger did Gundam.
Or I think not Gundam...
Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann? I think Gurren Lagann was.
Based on one?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure.
Because...
The manga was coming out at the same time.
So that's kind of the way they did Darling in the Franxx, which was...
Interesting.
Original anime television project.
Yeah, so maybe Trigger just always does...
That would make sense.
that could be why their art style is so subtly them.
Yeah.
Because they're always drawing their own
They're
stuff.
not trying to evoke anything else. They're just, like, doing their thing.
I also liked, especially now that I know that it was them doing it, some of the, like, plays on words that they did. Like, the one that took me the longest to figure out and I was kind of annoyed about was the Naturals election, where I heard it so many times and then finally I was like, that's natural selection. Like, it took me so long to just figure out they just moved one.
They're all so funny.
But also, because that one was like an English play on words in the translation.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked up some of the other stuff. Let's see, what was it? So I'm pretty, like, I'm sure we all picked up on, like, the very out there fascist, not even undertones, just kind of tones of the whole thing. And interestingly enough, I looked it up. Fascism in Japanese is fascio or fascio, and fashion is fashion. They're pretty much the same word.
That's
And
interesting.
give or
That's
take
funny.
just the one character at the end. So whether that was a purposeful play on the words or not, it's
still funny.
a pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, the whole theme was assimilation
Oh, yeah.
of the entire show, and clothing.
I think the thing about Kill la Kill that really surprised me is it had some, like, strangely profound themes. Like, it's about, like, shame. Like, human shame.
Was anyone else picking up on I don't know if it was a specific one, but I know Amaterasu is like the goddess of light or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the specific one they were going for, but at least throughout the start, Satsuki was definitely being portrayed as like a goddess. Like every time they would show her from the normal people's
like,
point of view, she would be way
spotlight.
up high, spot of light, like you couldn't see anything. And and towards the end it all balanced itself out, but at the start definitely like it was implying that she was sort of a godlike character.
Yeah, I think like the thing that is so fun about it, like the world building is super cool, and what they did is they took so many like very classic tropes about characters and like how to portray characters, whatever, goodness, badness, and they're like so dramatized, like they're so obvious that it's funny, you know, like yeah.
I definitely thought the show was like making fun of like a bunch of different ideas.
Oh yeah.
And like kind of comically blowing them out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like
I think over the top was like the theme for everything. Like
literally everything was just
Every
completely insane.
It was they didn't do a single, even down to like the food that they were making, like how
mystery meat croquettes.
Yeah, Mankanshoku's mom's croquettes were like, they're unidentifiable, and it was like they're legitimately like there's like octopus and other
like
and like
crab shells coming out,
like
and
those,
like,
and there was so many of them, and even like and even like the fact that it was, you know, the school and the slums, like they did the slums,
that
was
looked
slummy.
so cool.
Yeah,
like the whole like shape of the school and going up, and like the angle of like the camera going up to the entrance.
It's so cool.
And just like the tiers of like the school is the top, you've got then the super rich people, then you got the kind of rich people, and then it just straight up, there was no middle ground. It just straight up went, you were either you had made it or you're living in a shack. Like this is
also
the back alley doctor.
when she got her 1-star, when Mako got her 1-star uniform, and he became the formal back alley doctor.
that was the episode I ended on rewatching. I did not make that far, so
I love that episode. It's funny.
That episode was so good. It was just them like how wealth kind of like took away what was important to their family, and then they're all doing their own thing, and then they all just like to say sorry. They all just randomly took off all their clothes and then just like got down and like bowed to Ryoko. It was so funny.
It's like so weirdly like meaningful. Like you're like, why is this so significant?
So I don't know how long it took all you guys to watch this the first time.
I didn't finish it the first time. I only got to like the end of the Tri-City attack thing.
Yeah, but like at this point, or like for watching it for me this time, I started it the day after we recorded the first episode, so 2 weeks ago, give or take. And I
started yesterday.
I just finished it like this morning, which I guaranteed I wasn't like actually putting in work to finish it, but I was like every time I wasn't watching either a new Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, or Dress Up Darling episode, I was like, I'll watch some more Kill La Kill. And then I finished it, and I was like, okay, 24 episodes. And I realized that Darling in the Franxx was also 24 episodes. And I watched that entire show in one night.
I feel like that has more to do with your fiending after Zeroed.
Yes. But more in, like, I think it's the same way to... I'm sure, like, for all of you, like, when you were in high school or even, like, in the middle school and you're watching something, like, you could watch that shit forever.
On God.
And you get to it now and it's just like, oh man, like 5 episodes in a day? Like, that's like almost 2 hours. Like, how could I... And it's sort of just for me at least, to put it all in perspective of like, these are 2 data points I can look at where they're the same length. It's even the same studio. Guaranteed I enjoyed Darling in the Franxx a lot because we won't go into that. But it was like, wow, like I don't think I could ever do that. I don't think I could one night 24 episode show at this point.
Yeah.
I never really did that, but
it was the only time I did it.
Sucks to be you.
Why does this suck?
I kind of want to do that now. I kind of want to binge like an entire series, but I haven't found a series that I aren't currently watching that I've really wanted to binge all in one night. Because like the ones that I really care about are coming out right now.
Yeah.
Maybe JJK. Like if I got into Jujutsu Kaisen as it finished, I might watch that all in like one
Get
night.
your ass into Attack on Titan, bro. You could binge that shit in.
I watched that shit
true.
very quickly because the world is just so
probably
like engaging.
I'm so surprised that none of you have. Well, you're not caught up. You haven't watched since the final season, part 1. I don't know how you managed to not watch the episode today, but oh my fucking god!
I was in so much pain, bro. I was not prepared to watch an Attack on Titan episode.
We won't worry about that. Today's episode was amazing, and I've heard today's Demon Slayer episode was really good too. So
I'm sure it was. The last one was fantastic.
I haven't watched the last one.
I would
like, dude, it was so good.
To add, I'd like to steer our conversation a little bit specifically here. Satsuki's mom.
She was so cool.
She was not only she was very cool. My first note about her in here is Satsuki's mom is mommy. I don't remember where we first saw her, but
that is
all I know
true.
is the next scene was where they're in the grand bath at their apartment, and my next 2 notes are what was going on in the bath, because for those of you who haven't seen it, it's maybe I read it wrong, but it seemed damn.
I don't think you did.
No, you were not reading it wrong.
It was damn implied that they like
of...
hooked up in the bath, and
it was not even that.
My next note was Satsuki's mom, mad sussy, and that was that little order of.
So it's been a minute since I've seen the end of Kill la Kill. I remember a bath and I remember her. What was going on in the bath?
She like.
I feel like you watched
her,
that
and
episode.
then
she starts groping her like crazy,
Who?
and then she's her mom, Satsuki's mom.
No, Satsuki is the one who is being groped.
Well,
thank you.
And then she mentions something about like this bath has something about life fiber water or some shit like that.
It
and
rejuvenates.
And then she's like, "I will unlock your full whatever." And it's basically
but the unlocking.
But the unlocking
that
was like
process looks suspiciously like something else. Seems suspiciously like something else.
So that part was a little bit weird, which took away a little bit of my parallel I was going to draw with her to another character that I'm surprised you didn't bring up yet. But other than that part, if you pretend that she doesn't almost hook up with her daughter a couple times, she is very much alike Gendo in so many ways.
That is true. That's actually very interesting.
Which, I didn't want to steal your thunder as the Eva person.
No, you can take it. Go.
You didn't bring it up in enough time, so now I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
But
I didn't
especially
think about
when
that.
they were talking about the lab stuff and her just, cranking out babies to be a copy of herself.
With like the computer thing and like whoever's like, that was when I was like, Evangelion. But I thought more about Ritsuko. I didn't think about Gendo. That's interesting.
I was thinking because she like wanted a perfect copy of herself, basically.
Yeah.
Or I guess Gendo didn't want himself; he wanted his wife. But
yeah. Ava spoilers.
Yeah, don't.
Hey. Put that before.
Also, on the topic of Satsuki's mom, who was paying attention to the music? because I fucking loved the music so much.
It's good.
It was so
it's really good.
I guess
And her hair.
her hair
Holy
was
shit.
awesome.
Her
Swag.
character design is fucking cool.
Her hair is awesome. I'm looking at a picture of her. I'm like,
I guess like I obviously listened to the music because I watched the show.
Dude
But
turned off his ears.
Maybe I wasn't specifically paying attention to her stuff.
So there was like 3 kind of music things. There was like the comedy ones, like when they'd play like some classic recognizable sound when like something funny was happening. There was like the just regular background sounds, which were so cool, especially for Satsuki's mom. And then there's like the fighting sounds.
Yeah.
It was.
I liked. So part of it was I think I was paying too much attention to other sounds. Like I was
What
thinking.
kind of sounds?
Well, don't make it sound
The
weird.
ass
It's
slapping noises.
not weird. I was trying to pick out all the times where Ryuko's theme was either playing in its entirety or playing in like a sort of toned down version of it, because they played a lot of different versions of it in when things were happening with her. And then I liked all of is it Nona? Nonon's. Whenever she was playing stuff, I liked their choices of depending on how she was fighting people, what songs they were playing.
Oh yeah.
Her character was pretty cool.
I love the Elite Four. All those people are hilarious.
Such good
Yeah.
characters.
I
So
saw
good.
what was it? I saw right when I finished the show, I saw something on Reddit about, and it was someone who was. They must have watched a different Kill La Kill than we all did, because it started out with them just bitching about the fan service, and I was like, all right,
It's
Get
not that
over it,
bad.
bro.
I was like,
Get over
I was
it.
like,
If I can get over it, they can.
also, like, that's the damn point, but whatever. And then they were like, also, they mentioned, they were like, it was so, like, full of just dead parts. Like, every time the Elite Four was on screen, I was like, what are these people even here doing? And I was like,
They were not
really-
paying attention.
Like, you're really watching a
Fucking
different show than
delusional.
all of us. Yeah, especially, for one, I didn't even have a hint of expecting that Satsuki was going to switch sides.
Yeah.
And
That was the last 12 episodes picked up, like, real quick. Like, the first 12 were fantastic. I loved it. And I think the concept is cool enough that I was like, I don't need to understand what's going on. They don't need to explain. This is just cool. But
I
the last
love
12
the pacing.
episodes, I was like, oh, damn. The story
Slow
has
One
lots of
Piece.
structure.
yeah, there were
Yeah.
no like slow episodes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that for the sort of mockery they were making of fan service and other shows, that they didn't do like a super overzealous beach episode
Yeah.
just to like.
They literally had nudist beach, man. Come
Yeah, they
on.
did.
Yeah, but
Every episode was a beach episode.
With nudist.
I did really like their, if you can even call it uniforms. The nudist beach uniforms were so
The
good.
fucking cannon thing.
The legs.
The
That was
DTRs.
so random.
What, like, out of all the ways that shows have made people pilot mechs, I've
They
never
did
seen
mechs
one
right.
where.
Oh, yeah.
they
Step aside
just-
Eva, bro.
Never seen one where they just lay themselves horizontally over the rocking thing. So funny.
I also think like, as someone who watches a lot of high school slice of life anime, it is so funny, like, how they took that genre and fucking ran with it. Because if you think about it, like, in its simplest form, Kill la Kill, they go to a high school, it's about all the school clubs and the school festival, and then they have a Kyoto episode, which is, like, a thing that happens in a lot of, like, slice of life, shoujo, anime.
They go on the school trip.
They go on the school trip to Kyoto. It's
Except
always Kyoto.
they
Except for the
destroyed
school
it.
trip this time, they destroyed Kyoto. And then also, in their fight with Kyoto, the Kyoto people, like, there were so many references to, like, what Kyoto is known for as a city. Like, they had some, like, weird... He said something weird about, like, global trade or having access to international things, and Kyoto is, like, the historical trade city of Japan. Because
Yeah.
it's the historical capital. And, like, there are a couple other things like that.
Which one was Kyoto? Was that the one with the
That's one with the money
guy?
The
Yeah.
That guy was
Because
funny.
they're like historically like a very wealthy city that was the old capital of Japan before Edo. I don't know. Japanese
You
history.
are a loser.
That was like kind of right? That was like.
Why
a
would
little
I
bit.
know?
Aren't you taking Japanese?
Yeah?
Not
Don't
The
Japanese
language
history.
class. Not
Oh.
Japanese history.
They should be. I think I'm right.
Okay. You want to hear a funny story about Japanese people?
Yes.
Okay, y'all know about QAnon.
Yes.
What do you think? So, QAnon is actually kind of a big thing in Japan.
Of course
How?
it is.
What do you think they call it?
No, I don't know.
They call it Q-san. That's what they literally... And it has, like, a pretty big following. But every time they're like, mentioning it, they'll be like, Q-san. And it's just, like, so ridiculous.
What?
So funny.
Like,
That doesn't
I guess I
surprise me.
only hear about, like, American QAnon stuff, but what QAnon stuff do the Japanese people even be, like, listening to?
It's
Probably
about
the
America.
same stuff.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah.
Japanese people just be like
They're just chilling.
having beliefs sometimes that are very like
It's-
I saw a video of like a anti-mask like pro-Trump protest in like Japan, and it was weird because it was
Yeah.
like extremely formal, like perfectly straight rows, and then like they all had
Ooh.
their banners, and it was completely silent.
that's feeling
Like,
a little bit
They're just walking like
a little
perfectly.
bit
I'm like,
1939.
how
Little bit.
organized do you have to be for that? Maybe not. Okay, I might be exaggerating perfectly straight rows, but they did have people in the front. It was like a parade almost. Like they're like, okay, we've rehearsed this in the park for weeks now. We're ready for the big
They've been
protest
meeting
day.
up, planning.
Yeah,
They've got like a little chart.
I think that would really take
Who's standing
American
where?
You
protest
got
to
an
the next
RSVP?
level. You got
Um,
RSVP for the protest.
Sort of on the line of American protests, I saw a clip of an anti-mask demonstration in New Zealand that the news was covering, and these people were like, they were protesting at like some Capitol building, and they were like police, and they had like fences or barricades up, and at one point the people got like riled up and started like knocking the barricades over, but then, and I'm gonna quote the news people as the reporters as best I could, then they said, but because this isn't the United States, afterwards they all helped clean it up. And then it was pictures of these people who were just protesting and knocking over the barricades, not protesting anymore and helping set everything back up that they just knocked over.
People in other countries are so much better.
New Zealand news is so funny. There was...
Of course it is.
I've seen more of it, obviously, because during the pandemic they do so much funny shit,
Yeah.
and then people talk about it. But they did one where they were talking about masks, and then they went to like go from one topic to another, or kind of. But you know, the news artist always plays little bits of music between them. Not even kidding. They played the part of Dream's song. That's what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is. As they transferred things, and I was like, this is not real. What was it? They also played some like Undertale theme.
Sans Undertale? Megalovania?
It wasn't Megalovania. It was like one of the just normal background ones, but as just background for like some other clip.
Yo, that shit is gas. I can't even lie.
That
That's
soundtrack's fantastic.
so good.
What was in Undertale in like 2016, 2015?
What do you mean?
Meth.
Why was
Oh.
everyone playing that shit?
Because Toby Fox writes anything. Literally, I'm playing through Undertale again right now, just so that I can play Deltarune and know what's going on.
Mm.
Like,
Because
I cannot express how many people I watched play Undertale in
Also,
like 2015.
here's the thing that I didn't remember from the last time that I played however much Undertale I did years ago. That shit is... Maybe I'm worse at video games now, but that game
Literally,
is
I
so
got that
hard.
game. I am fucking garbage. I quit. I gave up. I couldn't beat it.
I couldn't remember how far I got before, because again, I watched so many people play it
Yeah.
that I just know like the whole thing. But some of these parts I'm like, there's no way like, for one, I'm like, there's some YouTubers I watched who are like, I'm like, these people suck at video games. But I watched them beat it. And I'm sitting there like, maybe they're not as bad as I thought, because I cannot beat this level.
Are we
I should
old
play it.
now? Are we getting old? Are we
my
can't
God.
binge an anime in one night? We can't beat video games like
That's
we
what-
used
On the
to?
brink of
Is
death.
this what happens when you turn 20? Am I just gonna keel over and die on
Just
Friday?
die.
When I
I
turned
gotta
Oh
play
my
my
gosh.
funeral.
oh my
How long do we have? You have like, I have like,
Until you die?
yeah.
I got not even a week. I got 5 days. 5 days until
Daniel's
I'm
already
dead.
dead. Daniel's just gone.
already dead.
Well, that's
he's
where he
not
is.
here.
That's why
we're
he's
not.
here.
He's not here. You know, Michigan.
I'm-
There's a place in Michigan called.
Blur that out. Bleep that out. No one needs to know
Bleep that
my
out.
location. Bleep that out.
We just
There's
doxed
a
Daniel.
place in Redacted. That's called Redacted. That's what
speaking of birthdays, I'd like to shout out Nico Robin from One Piece. Her birthday is today, the day that we're recording this.
Nico Robin's an Aquarius.
Let's
go Nico.
Oh, you can't say that now. If people really pay attention, they might be able to figure out when my birthday is.
I don't think they can.
Dang, that's tough. With your birthday, they can figure out a whole bunch of stuff.
They could sign into any of my accounts ever.
Redacted,
you
redacted.
just use your birthday.
Literally just the...
Take that back. Future me. Blur that out.
You can redact all these dates. Don't redact Nico Robin. We love her.
We love
Is
her.
it Broggy's birthday today?
Aquarius Queen.
Oh, no, that's February 1st.
What's the fan
like I had a
service in
point.
One Piece exactly? Other than like,
Have
Nico
you seen
Robin
the male and
and-
female
fucking
characters? Have you
Massive
seen them?
titties.
No, that was just a way to. I know. That was just a way to introduce this new topic.
The massive titties.
Massive.
That's all we got. That's all.
Then how is that? How is that better than? How is that worse than Kill la Kill? Because Kill la Kill
I don't
has
think
a lot
it's
of fan
worse.
service, and we like that show. We like One Piece, but like okay, I like Fire Force a lot. Nicole, you didn't like Fire Force because of Tamaki. The
Yeah.
fan service. only there.
But she didn't like her personality was bad. The personalities in Kill la Kill are good. They got good stories.
Let me just pause for a second. Fuck Nico Robin. It's Mewtwo's birthday today.
Hey,
Mewtwo.
Oh my
Those
I
bad.
never
fucking
played
thighs.
fucking Pokemon.
Like, giving meaning to Thunder Thighs.
I didn't like that.
Speaking of Pokemon, no.
No.
We're gonna talk about when's the Vaporeon episode.
oh
We can do
god,
that.
that fucking
The
fucking
requirements to
copy
play through an
pasta
entire
about
Vaporeon.
Vaporeon is disgusting.
Did I show? I found a TikTok. I think I showed it to you, but it was these guys playing like Black Ops 2 or something, and I don't know why they were talking about it. But one of them, he's like, "What's your go-to Pokemon?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You know," and he's like, "Oh, for sex?" And he's like, "Yeah." And this dude wasted no time. There's like a half-second pause, and then he goes, "Mankey." It's like that is there's
No.
very few worse ones than Mankey. You
Yeah.
couldn't really. Spoink's definitely worse.
That's S tier. S tier.
Spoink's S tier?
I know a guy.
I know the guy.
Just because of the name.
You seen Spoink? I got you.
You about to see Spoink.
Hmm.
Just think about that shit, bro.
Bro, if you like Spoink, you're
That
pedophile.
copy pasta is horrendous.
Oh,
Every
God.
time. Oh, I be getting on Twitter. I get these Vaporeon plushie sponsored things every time. And every time I see them, I go in the comments, and it's all the same. Everyone's like, we're all here for the same reason.
Dude's talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, can we move on?
Mhm.
We don't need to talk about Pokemon.
Anyone played Legends of Arceus or whatever, the new Pokemon
No.
game yet? Daniel, you
Isn't
played
it
that?
garbage?
I've heard it's pretty
Okay.
good.
Here's the deal. As someone who knows a little bit more, there was leaked stuff about of the game, and it looks like complete garbage. The game is then released. It still looks unfortunate. Like it has the only thing Pokemon can improve on at this point going forward is how the game looks. Because you can't change all of Pokemon. Like you can add like some fight, like some battles or something like that, or change minor things. But at the core, like the only way you make it look like a new gen game is by making it look better. It did not look better. Like older games look way nicer, and people just aren't liking it. But like the gameplay itself, people are like, oh, I like the gameplay. It's fun, but how it looks is unfortunate. It has cute animals. You can do so much with cute animals and make the environment look like in the same aesthetic, but it was bad. It was
That's
bad.
sad.
Is that game the same one?
This is
I've seen a
some
bunch
gameplay.
of
Oh no.
clips recently
Aw.
of some game where it's
Why
like
would they do that?
a first-person shooter, but there's Pokemon. That's not the same game, right?
It's not a
You shoot the
first-person
Pokemon.
shooter.
Well, I've seen
Um,
one where it's someone. It's like looks like an
Pokemon
actual
hunting
game,
game.
but it's just some
There's
guy.
the dude just shooting the Pokemon,
He's
right?
just gunning down Pokemon.
Okay, you can walk around in
I
this
would
game.
hope.
You-
Whoa.
Stop,
Whoa.
Technology's
You
going too
you
far
walk
now.
around, and the Pokemon are also walking around. There's no like loading screen and then a Pokemon battle. The Pokemon battle just happened, and that's why this game was supposed to be a lot cooler. Was that the Pokemon would be walking around, you could interact with them, and then you could just start a battle with them, and you could walk around the battle while it's occurring, and that was cool. But then the game just looks kind of like, it looks okay.
I've seen a bunch of clips of people's Pokemon just getting demolished by this one
Snorlax?
The one Snorlax that just... First off, they made Hyper Beam look so sick, but also people will put anything up against this dude and they just get nuked by this Snorlax.
Okay, I'm looking at the game right now. It doesn't look that bad, like the actual, I don't know, graphics, I guess, of it, or like the design, but you can't put Breath of the Wild from 2017, I believe. 2017, they put Breath of the Wild. That game looks gorgeous. Are there areas that are pretty empty? Yes. But then you slap in Pokemon Legends of Arceus or Arceus. I don't even know. I don't care to know. And it doesn't look as good. It's like you can't. You're up here and you're going down.
I was hoping that it would be a little different because I've noticed that with a lot of games nowadays where they like rush them so much putting them out that they get better, but they don't get that much better because they don't spend that much time working on them. And for how long it's been since like a Legend of Zelda or since Breath of the Wild or like a Pokemon game like this, I was kind of hoping that it would look really good. And I mean, like you said, it doesn't look bad, but for it to be that much
look good,
for it to look that much alike Breath of the Wild,
if you can compare it from games that came out like
5
years ago, 10 years ago, it's like
that's not great.
Well, like, it's, I mean, I noticed the same thing. So none of you played this game, obviously, but the new Battlefield game, holy shit, they made that trailer look so sick. It was like jumping off a building, and then a plane crashes and kills this dude skydiving, and then there's a tornado that's sucking people up, and you're flying around in a wingsuit. And most of the gameplay that I saw was, first off, people spent the like beta testing period just hitting trick shots. Like people were like, "Oh, Battlefield's out. Better see who can hit the first trick shot." Like, well, the game's not even released. But I mean, even you guys might have seen some clips of the hovercrafts. If you hit a bump right, you could drive them straight up skyscrapers because of however they made. Like, there were just so many glitches in it, and
wasn't it like rated like 1 star on release? You can get a full refund back no matter how much time you have in the game. Like, and that's not from them, that's from Steam.
Great.
Steam said if you bought this game, normally it's what, you get like 2 hours. If you have 2 hours in the game or it's been over a month, you can't get a refund. Steam was like,
me buying Wrath.
Steam was like, we don't care. We know this game sucks so much. It doesn't matter how much time you have in it or how long ago you bought it. You can get a full refund. Like, it was.
Did they do that for Cyberpunk 2 or something like that?
I don't know.
There was something along those lines. Yeah.
I just don't get, like, I mean, obviously I didn't pay as much attention years ago when like Breath of the Wild and stuff was coming out, but did they do the same? Like, did Nintendo say, stay tuned for this exact date when we will release Breath of the Wild, or were they just like, it's gonna happen soon, and then it happened? And
fun thing with Nintendo, and this is why I like their games more most of the time, they do a Nintendo Direct. So they showcase a bunch of games, and the games that people are really into, they'll have like a big screen, they'll be like Metroid 4, and then it will cut to this guy just smiling there, and he's just like, and there's like a dub over him, and he's just like, as of today, we have no further announcements on this game. Tune in next time. And I'm like, bro, you just scammed everyone. But I appreciate that, because I'd rather have them spend a bunch of fucking time on a game and make it really good than like just crank them out every single year or whatever.
All these like stupid release date stuff, like Cyberpunk, they were like, it's gonna come out now, and was it even delayed?
It was delayed for a long time.
It was delayed, and they still put out an unfinished game. Battlefield, they were like, it's coming out here, and I don't know if they delayed it, but they should have at least. If they didn't, they should have, because that thing was not ready. And
Battlefield has always been buggy on release. It has always been a terrible mess. My source is the Russian Badger, so take that as you will.
It hasn't.
He's like,
it hasn't
Go ahead.
consistently been that bad though.
not that bad necessarily.
Part of it was all that they tried to do with this one. Like when Battlefield 1 came out, it was like the most vehicles you get is a horse and a plane and like a tank. Like there wasn't much that you could glitch in that game. But this one was like helicopters, tornadoes, and hovercrafts. Like they're just asking for stuff to be. And like Halo Infinite was delayed. Like they gave a release date and then they delayed it. And their reason for delaying it, they were like, we want to give you a good game, and right now it's not at that point. And so far, all the stuff I've heard is that it is not bad. Like, it was good that they did that, but I would so much rather companies just say, like, we're working on this game. It'll come out whenever. Like what I hope Rockstar is doing with GTA 6 right now. I mean, I'm probably going to be like 75 by the time GTA 6 comes out, but, oh, it better be good.
I feel like that kind of deadline, like, the expectation of, like, a very short window to create something very cool, like very high quality, is like it's not just something that affects like video games. That kind of affects like all animated / computer generated media, right? Like because of like obviously I think this is actually very much impacted by pandemic conditions, but like the demand for something to do on your computer to watch or play or whatever is so high that it's leading to more companies trying to take advantage of that boom, and then giving their, like, the people who are actually doing the work shorter and shorter deadlines, and the product just cannot compare to something that, with a reasonable budget that was given the right amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, some of it is, like, the budget that these games have is nuts. I just want to get the best.
If their budget is right, then I'm guessing it's probably more related to time frame then, right? Because no matter how much, like, how big your budget is, or how many people you have working on a project, no matter like anything, there's no way you can compare a game made on a deadline to one that was made with no real thought of how long it would take.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are like crazy different. Like just from like Genshin Impact in 2020 it says $100+ million US.
Oh yeah.
Which that's a pretty well fleshed out.
Oh yeah.
Well,
comparatively,
that game is different. You can't really compare it to the other. That's just like the banana farm in Bloons Tower Defense. It's like that. They are printing money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got Battlefield 4, which came out in 2013 and was a very good battle. Like probably the best Battlefield still to date, in my opinion. Was about the same. It was like $100 million US to make. Battlefield 5, which was in like 2018, just according to this, took $3 million to make. So that right there is a gigantic difference in.
Yeah.
And guaranteed, you've got like Battlefield 4 was so far ahead of its time, and like it's still one of the best Battlefield game. Most people think. I think at least. Genshin Impact is. God, I mean, like you said, they're printing money. Like, they could sink money into that knowing they're going to get all of it back from people doing those damn spins.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. That game, like, how much money have I spent on it? I think I've spent $200 on that game.
That's...
So
maybe
here,
not that much.
Two things that I'm reading about Battlefield 2042, at least, is the leak says it may have cost EA $2 billion.
Oh, holy shit.
And it was only in development for 15 months.
Well, then I'm guessing a lot of their budget went to paying their employees to work so fucking hard on that game that they could make it in 15 months.
Yeah. And
it was still shit, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think, like...
don't get me wrong. As now a free game, considering you could get your money back if you bought it, it was pretty good. Like, free Battlefield, that was pretty good. But...
I think maybe as an industry, games have become more of like a high turnover thing as more people have more access to computers that can handle games.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, if you think about a lot of the games that people are playing nowadays, like the super popular ones, most of them now are free game. Like, Genshin is
I think there's a lot of games now that are becoming super popular are the ones that are, like, not like FIFA, where one comes out every year. They're like the ones that get updated.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also free to play, because like...
Yeah.
if you're just looking at the like top games on Twitch, it's like, well, League of Legends is number 1.
Yeah.
And like that's a free game.
And discounting, of course, like all the people that play the GTA RP servers, because that's a big thing. And GTA is like $40, $40 or $60.
Free on Epic Games like a year ago when that launcher first came out. If you missed it, you missed it.
But yeah, there's so like, I mean, I will admit I have failures. One of them was pre-ordering Forza Horizon 5. That is a base $60 game. I spent the extra $40 to pre-order it, which was basically you get it for a week early, and you get some extra cars and shit. And what I got for that early free-to-play was servers that didn't work, a game that crashed every time I tried to open the pause menu. Basically, I just got an unfinished game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, I'm salty that I spent money to just get absolutely ripped off. But I think if they're going to have a like early access window, I think that they should preface it if it's going to be early access and you are the beta. Like if you are in there testing if their game works, for one, you should know if you're going to pay extra to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that you shouldn't actually. Like I think they should have their own people testing that. Like,
or they should have it be like you don't have to pay and it's free.
Because the most common thing that would happen besides the funny, I want to go into my garage, and then the game froze and crashed, was the big thing with Forza Horizon games is playing with other people, and you can, even if you play by yourself, you can see where everyone else is driving around. Like, but they're like kind of ghosted. You can see them, but they can't hit you, they can't get in your way, you can just see where they are. But you can join up and you can convoy with people, and that lets you bump into them, have races, do all that kind of stuff. Play hide and seek, play all the super fun games. However, there was this... it's super fun. There's... Okay, slight off topic.
Sorry.
The most fun thing to do in Horizon is turn off the HUD, turn off names over players, turn off the map, turn off all that, and then you go to like one little area of the city, and you have one person who's like the seeker, and everyone else gets in the cars that like the AI drive around in, and you pretend to be AI, and the person has to try to figure out who's AI and who's an actual person. So much fun. But that only works when you can see people. The funny bug that happened even after the game came out was people you were in a convoy with, they just disappear every once in a while. Completely gone. They couldn't see you. You couldn't see them. They were gone from the map. They could see some other people. It was like... And obviously, I don't know how coding games... But a like bug like that is detrimental to how you play the game, I'm surprised that it took so long for them to fix. Or a thing like Cyberpunk. Like, there's no way that they had their own employees like play through that game and go, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I played Cyberpunk, and the only issues I had was my computer was like barely good enough to run it, and so like it would freeze. But like a lot of I don't know. I felt like the hate for Cyberpunk was a little bit over the top because like Cyberpunk got delayed for a long time, and I think honestly I feel like there were a lot of problems, but like I didn't notice that many problems, and I played through like the whole game. But
yeah, some of it might be too if you were like at the bare minimum of getting the game to function, you might have not noticed as much stuff that say streamers with super good PCs were like, oh damn, like what going on here.
Yeah, I also probably didn't play as much as them, but it's like...
Cyberpunk was an interesting look into how much extra hype you can get around a game just by letting people customize genitalia. Like, I wish to see the statistics on how many people that maybe weren't going to get the game were like, oh, you can customize your dick? Yeah, I'm getting that.
There's nothing more fun than a customizable character.
I really liked that game. Like,
it looked super fun.
It was really cool, and the aesthetic about it was really nice. I liked it, but like there were glitches. Some things were perfect, but it's like sometimes I'm like, get over it, because like 90% of that game was great, but it was just like there's just like a couple bugs, and like
at the very least for like Cyberpunk was not on multiplayer. I mean,
I don't think so. At least I never played it.
For these like story mode games, it always just like with online. Obviously, I get it. There's going to be bugs when you get a bunch of people on different ping and different Wi-Fi and different servers trying to play together. But I'm always just a little bit more disappointed when it's like a story mode game and there's still bugs and glitches and stuff in it. Like, obviously, yes, games nowadays are trying to do a lot more than they ever had before, but in some ways, I would much rather play a game where I can't do as much, or it's not as crazy innovative, but if it just worked. Like, if they put all these budgets into, like, take GTA, for example. That game came out in 2011 or 2013, and it still looks and functions better than most games.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how Rockstar did it. Like, their games are always so ahead of the curve in, like, you can go anywhere. Like, you can go anywhere and somehow there's not a bunch of glitches and stuff like that. But it's interesting that they are that far ahead.
Well, I think, like, was it... Obviously, you weren't playing in 2011 when it came out. But I think... I actually don't know, just guessing. But, like, is there any... Would it make sense if the reason that it worked so well is just because it's been out for... And they've had time to, like... fix bugs.
A little bit, and, like, they still... Like, the glitches... Or not the glitches, the exploits in GTA when they happen are ridiculous. Like, the ways that... Basically, the way that you get money in GTA that you're supposed to is you either grind your ass off and it is so much work that I don't get why people do it, or you get absolutely ripped off and you buy these things called shark cards, which is like $1 million in GTA is like $90 real life money. It is such a waste. But for a while there was this glitch where there was this one heist that you could, if you glitched it right, you could not have to do all the setups for it and just do the main event, and you could get 1.1 million for 15 minutes of work, which comparatively, that was a really good way to earn money. 15 minutes, you get 1 million, that's $90 saved. Then there was this other one with this free car that they gave you that you could do a bunch of shit that was super tedious and easy to mess up, but if it worked, you could get $300,000 for like 5 minutes of work, maybe. When I got really good at it, I could do it in like 3 minutes. And that was getting into like exploit range. And then there was this update. And in the update, no one cared about the stuff that they added. What everyone cared about was this exploit that came with it, which was a property you could sell for $3 million, buy it for free, and it took you 22 seconds. And Jack got banned from GTA. Calvin got banned from GTA. I think Yashu, like, so many people got banned. I somehow didn't. But they banned like a quarter of their player base. Or not banned, but like wiped their account, start you over at nothing. Like a quarter of their player base. And that was sort of like, that was where a lot of people stopped playing GTA, or at least that I know, because they were like, what's the point? Like, they wiped all my money. I don't have anything. I'm not going to actually grind to get all my stuff back. But other than bits like that, there haven't really been like, oh my gosh, this game is so unpolished stuff. Like, there's been weird exploits, but there haven't been like, you drive this car in this spot and the game crashes. Or if they are, they were funny. Like, you drive your car under some of those closing gates, and if it closes on it right, you get launched up into the air. And like, it doesn't break the game, and it's really hard to do, but it's funny if you could do it. But yeah, there's probably a bit that it's been out for so long.
Because the other thing I was thinking about is like because the industry has changed so much in the last like 5 years, I think, like, for everyone being inside, but also just like, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like video games have become such like a prevalent thing for so many people that it wasn't.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not true, but just in my perception. And because it's become such an industry, it makes so much money than it used to in 2011. So much more money than... like, obviously, they're going to be trying to crank out as many games as they can, because they have opportunity for profit. And, like, the other thing that comes from that is, I think... Yeah, no,
also, I think, like, Twitch and YouTube, like, blew up. If you watch the, like, YouTube rewinds, like, the first few years, it's like, they had, like, 10 people.
Yeah.
And then, like, recently, it's, like, a whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's just so many more people watching Twitch, watching YouTube. And, like, gaming is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone's always looking for a new thing, because this is going to sound like I'm someone's mom or something. But, like, as a species, our attention spans are being shortened by technology.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is not...
Impossible. Mine was already minimized.
Mine was always already tiny. but like because our attention span, like our capacity to enjoy one thing for more than I don't know, like a month is just like almost non-existent unless you're someone special. I don't
Unless
know.
you are crazy. God, paying attention to something for...
Paying attention? No. That's some like 2018 shit. Come on.
Nicole, you've even seen it when I play Osu now. There are times where I get like a quarter of a way into a map or halfway through a map, and I'm not doing bad or
You're like 3 minutes.
low.
That's too long.
I'm like, God, a 2-minute map? And I just quit out of it and I find another one. I definitely struggle with short attention span.
Yeah.
I'd also just like to let you guys know, at some point, the camera turned itself off.
You know
I don't
what?
know when.
That's fine.
It still has full battery. It didn't run out of space. It just decided to stop. So this will be
happened before.
Didn't want to look at us anymore.
What was it? I was filming someone's high school graduation, like grad party. A grad party. No, really rich part of Redacted, and there was like tents everywhere. You know, like the white tent with like
Yeah. I know what you're
host-
talking about.
The white
There's, like,
tent. I agree.
There was like 7 of those, and like they had like lake property, and
God damn.
the person, their mom, had friends in like theater, and they put on a play about this girl's life. And I was
That
like,
would be the
"Yo,
most
no-"
embarrassing
Yo.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, it was. And
This is a new level of rich.
she wanted my sister ended up volunteering me to film it, and horrible
Oh, no.
process. The camera that we had randomly, I had 3 cameras. I had the main one and 2 phones that were like one on a tripod. One was just leaning against something at different angles, and the camera just randomly stopped working. One of the phones in the wind blew off and fell, and then the one that was leaning at the worst possible angle was the only one that consistently played through the whole time. Oh, and then I had one phone on the stage recording audio.
How many
So,
phones
like,
do
it
you
was so
have?
messed up.
Daniel
No,
has
I
like
was
5
just
different phones.
My sister was like, "Hey, can you come early?" I'm like, "Yeah, how early?" She's like, "I don't know, an hour." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. I'm an hour away. This was away from where I lived, and it starts in about a little bit. All right, I'll leave right now." So I'm there super early, and I'm just asking people I know. I'm like, "I need your phone. Give it to me." So
Give me your phone.
I got paid, so like it was a win.
That's nice.
Dub.
I'm still
Yeah,
stuck
but it-
on the fact that whatever that person was, they got a play put on.
Oh,
about-
it was about like
That would be
uh,
so embarrassing. I
their
don't think
dad-
I could survive
I
that.
remember we had like
We had
the
a
PowerPoint
dope
video.
That was amazing.
You guys got a graduation celebration. All I got,
We got
my
Miss
parents
Johnson.
got me sunflowers, and I had an awkward graduation party that like my family friend came. It was just my family friend's family. We were like chilling in my side yard.
We got a Miss Johnson cameo
Mm-hmm.
in ours. That was awesome. While we're on this topic of rich people and rich
You
life,
just name dropped Miss.
Redacted.
congrats. You can
Miss Johnson
figure
made
out
it on the
Johnson.
podcast.
The
Um,
most just classic U.S. name. How many people have the last name Johnson? Like actually, like 50% of people.
Can we just not call this the Kill a Kill episode? Because it's really not. Let's call this the Redacted episode.
yeah.
Again.
Everything we've commented, because we talked about Kill a Kill for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then we're like,
talked about it for
video
We talked
game
about it for
talk.
like 45
We talked about it
minutes.
for a while.
I didn't talk enough.
By the way, I am not redacting, and we haven't done anything serious enough that I feel
Yeah,
like I
we're
need to
fine.
edit
We
it.
don't need to redact.
I got a small taste of what rich life is like recently.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I got to drive a new car for the week. Not just, and when I say new, I mean like not obviously brand new, but like in the couple recent years. And this new car, it was an Audi, one of the new like Audi little like cross wagon type things. The Q5 doesn't mean anything.
I
thanks,
don't know
bro.
what-
That was close.
Those are a nice
The-
combination of letter and
the
number.
Audi version of like a CRV or something.
Okay.
I didn't know that that some people get to in the winter go into their car, turn on the heat, and it is just instantly hot air.
Rich people build
Bro.
different.
Rich
That it
people.
was. I
The
literally-
1%.
The
Come on now.
first day I drove it, I drove for like 20 minutes, just freezing my ass off, because I didn't want to turn on the air and have cold air blow on me. And then the next time I drove it, I like hadn't turned off the heat, so it was just already on.
Mm.
And I was like, oh shit, I gotta turn that off. And as I reached to turn it off, I felt warm air. And I was so taken. That plus a heated steering wheel. Oh my god.
A heated steering wheel.
Cold ass hands, you get in there, you grab a warm steering wheel.
What the
I would fall asleep.
I gotta say, the Honda CRV, any year, that's a great starter car. Like,
that's my mom's car is a Honda CRV.
it's a great car to learn how to drive because it's like mid-size, so you can like fit other people or like shit in the back, or
I'll be shitting in the back.
Stupid
No, no,
toilet.
no.
Hey yo.
we're not shitting in the back of the car. That's not this is my mom's car. We're not doing that. And it's nice size. It's a decent car. And I don't feel that bad if it got hit by something. It's like, oh, it's a family car. It's fine.
It's a good mom car.
Daniel,
I feel like
the CRV
moms
was what you
always
had.
have a CRV.
That was what you had last year, right?
Yeah, that's what we had.
Not to just outright hate on that thing, but driving that somehow just felt gross. Not like I felt gross driving it, but like the seat combined with where the steering wheel was, and like everything about that experience.
It's because you're fucking 14 feet tall.
Okay, but
Yeah,
I would sort of get. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like,
I felt so comfortable driving that car.
oh god,
Like I would get happy. I would be happy, like sitting there. Like for some reason, if I'm driving with someone or if we're both going somewhere, I don't want to. But if it's just me, I'm like, yeah, put in some music and then just like sing in my car in the comfortable CRV, windows down. Oh my gosh, love the CRV. But why do you?
When I drive,
it somehow made me feel like
You don't get the top.
it was like open. I mean, I don't know, like.
It's crazy. He's lost it.
I don't like. Maybe
What are you
it was like
driving?
the seats didn't grip my ass cheeks in the same way that they do in like other cars. But
there is no like.
I'm gonna sound like a crazy person, but it
Bro,
felt
too
like
late, man.
there was too much of me that wasn't touching the car while I was driving.
Oh, I kind of get what you're saying.
Like-
You're also skinny. Like as a large individual, I felt great in that car. Like for some reason, I don't like having that much room around me. I like touching the sides of stuff, or like if I'm sitting in a car, I like being against the door, or like having my knees not like cramped, but touching the front of the car when I'm in the passenger seat. I like that kind of stuff, so I felt really comfortable in that car.
When
I
I
don't-
drive, like my thing is whenever I drive, I look like I'm like someone's grandma, because I have to move the seat up towards the steering wheel, and then I like kind of like I get all nervous, so I like hunch in.
I don't necessarily want like, okay, the position that I drive in for a tall person is really weird. Like my dad and my brother are also very tall, and the way that they both drive is you lean that shit way back so that you're like this to the steering wheel, and then you raise it up because you're so angled back, and you're just like practically like you're so far
That sounds
reclined.
very uncomfortable.
The
But
way
you
that
drive wrong. And so you're
That's-
saying when you're forced to drive right by the CRV, it felt wrong to you.
no, because
you are incorrect.
I don't drive like them. I drive even weirder.
Oh,
The seat has to be all the way down. It has to be just far enough forward that my knees. I like push it forward until my knees touch the dashboard, and then I go back like a little bit. I make sure that it's like, you can raise them up.
Mhm.
It's got to be down but pushed up, and then the back has to be way forward. So it's like I'm in a little bucket. Like,
so you're like
all
sitting-
the way down, as far forward as I can comfortably go.
It's like your ass needs to be the lowest spot.
Yeah. My butt has to be,
Mm.
which is I think why the CRV was so weird, because I couldn't change the angle.
Yeah, the
See,
seat
I
does not
relate
change.
to
So
this
it
because I
felt-
kind of put myself in the same
It
position.
felt like I was sitting on like a crate.
yeah.
Not like it was uncomfortable, but it was just like flat, and the seat was flat. And I felt like
Yeah.
if you took two pieces of wood and you put them at a right angle, and then you gave
was
me
a
no
used-
You're
armrest.
driving in a wooden chair.
It was a used car from the mid 2000s. Like
Yeah.
it's
But, like-
not. Crazy
my dad's
good.
car, which is what I have been driving in, is like a 2005, maybe 7 or 9. I don't know. Volvo. And like, the seat is very adjustable. It is not like a super nice car or anything. It is actually quite shitty. They're like, there's
put some respect on the Volvo.
like, it drives well because it's like a nicely made car.
Oh yeah.
But like, there's not much going on in that car. Like, there is one CD player, and that is it. There's no aux. There's no way to insert an aux. Only a CD player.
You did not know the legend that was, and to this day, I don't know how this works, but in our old Toyota Camry, the legend that was the Toyota Camry, we had a aux, which at some point was upgraded to lightning port. This was the two farthest ends of the dongle spectrum. It was lightning port to tape player.
That was so bizarre.
Everything that I know about how a tape player works,
You can only do that with a tape player, because that's like an actual thing you can do, but it doesn't work with CDs, it only works with tape players.
I cannot fathom, though, how you can, because you're not writing data onto the thing. I don't get how you can make a tape player
I don't know.
be the output for anything that's not pre-recorded tape.
It's very interesting. And like, I don't understand why it doesn't work with CDs. Because you can't do that with CD players.
Yeah.
CD thing
Hey,
is too thin.
if you're listening and you're a professional tape recorder, tell us how tapes work.
Tell me how I could go from lightning port to tape
Tell us how
recorder.
that works.
Yeah.
And then at the same time have the most bass I've ever heard on any vehicle ever. While you're talking about Volvos, Daniel, you and I have been friends for a while.
Yeah, sure.
Were we friends in the... Did you ever get to ride...
Is this what I think it is?
Like, not just the back seat of the Volvo, but we had an old Volvo.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
If any of you have ever seen the really old Volvo station wagon, you can sit in the trunk and the seats pop up that are facing backwards. And so you
that was
sit
awesome.
in the trunk facing backwards.
That's like my dad's dream
actual
car.
seat.
My dad wants that car
That
so
car
bad.
was so bizarre. I forgot about that. Oh my god.
That's kind of an awesome car design.
Oh, and like the fact that it somehow is safe enough that you can put children in the rear of a car and be safe if you like get rear-ended. Speaking of which, when we sold that car, the people who bought it from us didn't take the plates off and then got a speeding ticket. And it went to us because it was still our plates. And that was... They somehow were not like, oh, our bad. They were like, radio silence. We're like, hey, haha, you got a speeding ticket with our plates on. Can you help us out?
They literally trolled you.
Oh, so dumb.
Did they never pay you back?
No, they didn't respond to us.
Court.
We just told the DMV like, hey, we sold this. Here's
This is not
like,
our
they
car.
own it now. Yes, it had our plates on it, and it was a pain, but I think they finally were like,
Okay.
yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Have you
back
guys
to
ever got a
when
speeding ticket or gotten pulled over? Well, you don't drive. So Daniel,
Nick, what's up?
you ever got a speeding ticket?
No, but do you remember when you came up to my room when we were all together? You came up to my room and you're like, hey, is the CRV parked in the back? I'm like, no. He's like, well, where is it? I'm like, in the front? You're like, no, it's not. And I go down there and there's no cars in the front. And I'm like, and there was no signs immediately next to our house. So I look down the block and there's like this one sign, and I walk down there. It's like no parking on today, and the classic Honda CRV got towed because they're like street sweeping, and I was so and it was charged to my dad, and he's just like, what? The car got towed, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, can you like pick me up and we can go deal with this instead of you just being upset and annoying. And I'm like, I don't think you understand how there were no signs on our street except for one on one end and one on the other. And this was in the period where I was doing online schooling and did not leave the house. So I wouldn't have seen it. I don't know. There was no like email. There's no text. No phone call.
Yeah.
No anything. No letter or note.
I take it back. I have gotten one parking ticket. It wasn't like a cool like, no, you can't get a cool parking ticket, but it wasn't like, I tried to get away with not paying one of those stupid parking things. I was at Wobbin, and there was like the Minneapolis plumbers picnic or something.
Redacted.
So many people
Redacted plumbers
at this park. So many plumbers, I guess, and their families.
Is that a Mario reference?
Maybe. But anyways, the parking lot was full, and I wanted to park there to play disc golf, which was right by the parking lot.
Ethan reference.
And he was there.
Redacted.
And I was like, damn, I don't know where to park. Oh, there's like 15 people who just pulled up onto the grass, like next to the parking lot, and are parked there. And my friend who I was there with, his dad is a lawyer. And I was like, yo, you think I'm chill to park on the grass? And I mean, obviously, he's not in this realm a lawyer. And he was like, yeah. But I was like, he's an adult. He knows what's up. And so I park on the grass. And then we're playing disc golf. And I notice cops already bad. Park police, god damn, they suck. I notice a park police officer pull up and take a gander at the 15 cars parked on the grass. And I'm like, he wouldn't. He did. That man went through, starts ticketing every single car parked on the grass.
Man.
And I run over there, because I'm like, I'll move it. And I get there as he is getting to my car. And I go, can I move it? And he just looks at me. And I go, if I move it right now, am I okay? And he just handed me the ticket. And it was like $20, so.
I think we got one last spring, too. At some random park. We were in the parking lot.
That was what I remember.
Oh, yeah. Ethan's dumbass.
Bro, the luckiest man alive.
I don't get, that man just exists doing things with no repercussions and then applies that to everyone. It was like, I was like, Ethan, this park closes at 10 and we were going to get there at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't think we should park in the park. I think because they say they close the gates. I don't want to get locked in. And he goes, no, it's fine. I've done this 3 times. And I go, what if we park just outside and then walk in? And he goes, nah, you're fine in the parking lot. Not even we park in some hidden place. The
actually the middle.
Under a light.
Under a street light of the main parking lot. And then I'm like, this seems stupid. And he's like, no, I've done this 4 times. Every time I think he said it, the amount of times he'd done it before went up. But he was like, no, it's fine. I've never gotten a ticket. And I was like, all right. He's never gotten a ticket. We're fine. No! It said park closes at 10. Of course they came through and ticketed us because we're parked in the park. What do you expect?
To be fair, though, it was a $35 ticket and there were 5 of us. So it was not that bad.
Yeah, and you guys all paid it instead of me. And so,
yeah.
That wasn't that bad, but still.
If we weren't parked under that light, though, I feel like they would have not given us a ticket, but also closed the gate. I think the only reason that gate was open was because they knew there was a car still there. And
that's very nice of them, actually.
I feel like that's what it would be. Because, why else would they leave it open?
I don't know. I checked it as we drove in, because in the back of my head I was like, either we're hidden enough that they don't see us and they lock this.
Or we're trapped in here all night.
And, we could have driven. It was, easily drive aroundable. But also, where we ended up going, we could have just parked in that neighborhood that was, one grass section over.
The place we were trying to go was, to one side, and we walked in a big loop around to get to the place we were trying to go.
The place we were trying to go also had a parking lot that they definitely wouldn't have come to.
And a swimming hole with no water.
Oh, that swimming hole is cool. Oh, about driving. You know how my dad drives? He is the safest driver ever, who follows every single rule.
Bro.
Yeah.
He's been hit twice. He literally... So, this is the most, depressing story. So, he works...
This the bus?
Yes. He works, an hour away from where we live, right? And so, he's leaving. It's the middle of the winter, icy. His car slides, boom, straight into a bus, car is totaled.
No!
And so, he has to walk all the way home. And it's just this sad story. He's ice everywhere. He's carrying a bunch of stuff because he's a teacher, and he's slipping and then taking the bus and waiting 15 minutes for the bus in the freezing cold. It's so
It's
sad.
such a sad image.
And he's literally the safest driver ever. Like, never speeds.
Yeah.
Always does every single
Which
rule.
car was it?
Silver Subaru Forester.
Oh, because I was gonna say if it was like one of your infinite Honda Fits, I would be like, I expect nothing
How
less of
many
that.
of them have their
Me trying to practice driving. My options: Honda Fit or Honda Fit with
manual.
And before we had 2 Subaru Foresters. I don't know how it happened.
You guys get one car.
You're like,
and
that's
you're
a good one. We're
I
getting
like this
another.
one. Let's get another. Like
In
I
the
get.
location.
Well, I get like the Honda Fit is cool. That's awesome. But
The
why
reason we have 2
two?
is because the second one we got, like, literally, we could have got it for free. One of our friends had an extra that she just didn't use. And so, like, my mom got it for like $1,000. So,
Yeah.
like...
So, in the region that I currently reside in, everyone is a horrible driver. The
That's
people
not
that are so nice that might listen to this, the people that are so nice that drive me, I'm sorry, y'all are bad drivers. Like, every single one of them, except maybe my roommate. But he scares me sometimes, because randomly he'll be like, let me change the song. Turns, no eyes on the road. Just starts going, like, I might be on my phone, I'm like, oh, you need to start, like, paying attention now so we don't die, like, going to Costco. But we had a snowstorm recently, so where I lived it snows, and everyone was losing their mind.
Hold on, we've already said it. I don't know why you're redacting the fact that you live in Michigan.
What the? I don't want people to know that. Why are you
Why?
saying that?
They're gonna be combing the entire state.
Oh
Damn.
no!
Michigan is literally the safest state. They got 2 ports.
I don't know. You know what? That's a great point. I can now slander Michiganders. Michigan drivers are so bad. I live near a street, as one does, and I just hear honking like all the time of just people like almost hitting each other. It's like 2 one-ways with a boulevard in the middle, and you need to do like there's like the turns. You can't actually take like a left, mostly you have to go right and then do like a U-E. All the time, people are almost hitting each other, and it's ridiculous. And then we had a snowstorm, and then people are like, oh, I can't get to class. It's so bad. Oh, the roads are terrible. And I just walked to class, and everyone's like, how did you do it? I'm like, with my legs. And they're like, where are you from? I'm like, a colder place, and that's cooler than yours. And it's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. They're like, classes are literally being canceled, and I'm just walking. I wear my overalls when I'm in the snow. I got my hoodie and everything. I look cute as hell, and I go to class, and then I look at my email while in class. I'm like, oh, no one's here. They're like, no class today. We'll do it on Zoom. So I'm doing the Zoom call from the class that it would have been in. Right.
I
It was
think
really classy.
with cold weather, I'm always like the most wimpy about it when it's like 25 degrees. Like
I
it'll be
hate
like,
cold weather.
It'll be like
I'm over
25
it.
degrees and it's like a gust of wind, and I'm like, this is the coldest I've ever been. And then as soon as it's like fucking -15, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants.
As someone who has driven in many places,
Mm-hmm.
I am usually very confident in my ability to keep myself safe when I'm driving. Not just like drive well, but like drive defensively enough that even if other people are absolute crackheads, I'm still going to be okay. Texas is the only place where I have legitimately feared that it was fully out of my control. Normally, I'm like, I still have control over it. Texas freeways, I was like, I may die. Who knows? What the fuck was that?
There's a light blinking. I don't know where it's from. I don't know what light it is.
But
House getting
already
possessed.
they got the fast speed limits. The speed limits are like 75.
Is it like the fucking, what's the German highway called?
The Autobahn?
It's
That's
like
just
the
got no
Autobahn.
speed limit.
The Autobahn is fucking crazy.
Somehow, these highways or freeways are all not big enough. Like, it's traffic constantly. You've got the left lane, which is people doing at least 100. You've got the second from the left lane, there's people doing like 90. Or the people that were doing 100 who are doing like 120 and have to pass people doing 100. You've got the like second from the right lane, which is still people doing like 20 over the speed limit. And then you've got the right lane, which is people trying not to die, but you still have to go like at least 85 just to not like literally fear for your life that you're just going to get rear-ended.
I'm at the point right now where I get to like 65, I'm like, nope, I'm out of control, time to slow down.
Oh my god. The truck I was driving this summer was a 95 Ford F-250, so like a 90s pickup truck. And that is the first vehicle where I have ever fully maxed out the speedometer because I had to do it every day just to get to the grocery store. To get to the grocery store, I had to get on the highway or the freeway. The speedometer only went to 85. And it's California, so every little downhill, I was doing like 85. And it was, every time I was like, I'm gonna, like, this should not be going this fast. But yeah, the people we were staying with in Texas, actually, they had an interesting story. About a week before we got there, there was this altercation on the freeway where lane splitting, if you're on a motorcycle, is legal in Texas. Or maybe it's not, but you can do it because of Texas.
They just do it anyway.
But basically, you can if you're on a motorcycle, you can drive in between lanes of traffic. If it's supposed to be if there's traffic, but people just do it all the time because you can go faster. Some guy on a motorcycle was filtering through traffic, and he got cut off by a truck because no one uses their turn signal. And he got mad, and it just so happened that they were both taking the same exit. And the motorcyclist pulled to a complete stop on the exit ramp, like in front of this truck, like came to a stop, got off his motorcycle, starts walking up to this truck, and pulls a gun on the person on the truck. Because it's Texas. Why not?
This is like
also,
the thing
if you don't like
tell
guns,
you in driver's ed.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is the worst that could happen with road rage.
If you don't like guns, stop listening for a little bit. But basically, this guy pulls a gun on this truck. The driver of the truck had his wife and both his kids in the and because this is Texas, he also had a gun. So the motorcyclist pulled a gun on him. The driver killed the motorcyclist because he had his family in the car. And the dude pulled a gun on him. So he just shot and killed him. And the police showed up, and it wasn't even like we need to take you in for questioning to make sure it was truly right. It was like yep, that's self-defense. Have a good day.
Bro.
That's where I was like, I will never live in Texas.
I'm mistaken,
the police.
Don't mess with Texas. Who's
I do agree that, like, it's a great selling point, like, stereotyping both groups. It's a family, like a stereotypical nuclear family man defending his family against, like, an angry biker with a gun.
Yeah.
I could see why they'd pull up and be like, yep, closed case.
Yeah.
Another day in Texas. And then just, like, go on with their day.
Yeah, but that's just, like, a terrifying thought.
Yeah,
I would hate to live in
that
Texas.
if you cut someone off, they will pull a gun on you. That is not a great thought.
Or if someone cuts you off, they will shoot and kill you.
Yeah, you could get cut off and then also die.
I don't know. I don't know the situation either of those people were exactly in. But I don't understand that. I'm like, why don't you just drive away?
Just calm down.
The guy can shoot at your car.
Yeah, you ever seen GTA roleplay, bro? You can shoot off a bike pretty accurately. No, but as someone who doesn't ride a motorcycle, but I ride a bicycle often, and I have to ride them on, like, county highways is probably the biggest roads that I ride on. And obviously, for whatever reason, people really hate the fact that I can ride on a road. Like, they think that is terrible, which I don't understand.
Roads are for cars.
If you are a person who hates cyclists, please enlighten me as to what I do wrong riding on the shoulder. But I used to get really mad when people would cut me off. Like, if someone cut me off or got close to me, I would be like, give them the finger. Like, if I could catch up to them, I would yell at them or whatever. But then at one point, I sort of thought about it, and I was like, there's no realm in which, unless this person gets out of the car, there's no realm in which I do more damage to them than they can do to me.
A car beats a bike every time.
It's like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. So now, whenever someone cuts me off or something, I usually give them like a sarcastic wave and a smile. Except one funny time, I was on River Road because basically the bike lane speed limit is like 15 or like 10 or something. It's 10. And I've gotten yelled at for actually both being in the street and on the bike lane, so there's no winning for me. But I was in the street because I was going literally the speed limit.
If you're going the speed of the cars, you should be on on the road.
Okay.
That is the general.
The problem,
drive the correct speed on River Road.
The problem
That's
with
true,
this
actually.
road is that the speed limit is too slow. So while I can do it on a bike, no one is doing it in their cars. And anyways, I've got headphones in because I ride with headphones. And as I'm riding, I'm noticing everyone on the walking path and bike path is like looking at me. Like, damn, I know I'm going fast and I look sick, but I don't
Stop
look this.
looking so
I don't
much.
look this cool. And then I take out one of my headphones because I could like kind of hear something, but I was like, I pull out one of my earbuds, and it's just like a constant horn. And I was like, that's weird. I'm doing the speed limit on the side of the road. Like, who's mad at this? There's no one coming for me to be in the way of. And I turn around and you know that horrendous fucking Nissan Cube?
The Cube?
The box.
It's a Nissan Cube with the most ancient women I've ever seen driving it. And one of them is just beep. Like, they must have been doing this for a while.
Was that when you were living when we were living together?
Yeah, that was with you guys.
Okay.
And I turn around and I sort of give them, like, I put my hand up, like, what? Because, what? And they proceed to finally pass me. And then there's, like, an intersection up ahead. And they go to turn right. But they're up ahead of me. And in the middle of it, they put on the brakes. So they are now in my way, like, blocking the side of the road I was riding. And I ride up to their door because they're parked in front of me. And I give them I point down, like telling them to roll down their window so that I can cuss out a bunch of old ladies and then ride away. And the passenger, not even the driver, this old lady who clearly can't drive because she's sitting past, like she's too old to drive, just gives me the double middle finger and then they drive off.
That's such a good
Literally
story.
got trolled.
Literally got
That's good
double
for them.
flipped off by an old lady, and then they just left. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay.
You just
I-
that was an NPC. No, you were
I
the
also-
NPC.
You were the
Yeah,
NPC there.
this was also while I was living with you guys last year. I just at a random, okay, so you are an absolute op if you stop at four-way stops completely and you're on a bike. Like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
What are you doing? You have too much time on your hand. But I am doing the slow, like obviously it's safe, but I check and then I roll through the four-way stop because I ain't fucking stopping. And I hear this honking, and literally half a block behind me is this car. And they honk, I guess because I rolled through the stop sign.
The police.
But they weren't even like, they had to really look to see me run that stop sign. And I'm like, okay, what? And then they proceed to, stop at the stop sign as I'm continuing to ride away because they're like literally so far away from me. And then they speed like hell to get up behind me and just honk at me a couple more times. And then as I get to an intersection where I'm turning right and they're going straight, they flip me off and then drive away.
Bro, what?
I like how they always flip
Okay.
you off and then drive away right away.
I had a coworker that, if you know the camp I work at, this will make sense. But for a certain reason, they had a 6-foot like cosplay sword that they called the cake knife. That was just this massive thing, and the support in it was like wood.
Bro, I got a
So it's-
6-foot something I call the cake knife.
What does that even mean?
Don't worry
What does
about
that
it.
even mean?
And he's
I'll cut
biking.
that part
I
out.
get it.
biking to work.
I get it, but it's not great.
Oh, well.
He's biking to work, and he has this massive sword underneath his arm while biking. And some guy, I think, like cuts him off or like almost hits him. So what he does is that the guy was like literally kills my friend. He gets up and then just takes the sword and just takes out a light. And then he's like, I'm late. And then gets back on the bike and just goes to work. We're at lunch. He's like, hey, I had a weird thing this morning. I'm like, oh, is that why you were late? He's like, yeah, let me tell you. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's
the story.
So
that's a crime. Can you
I
imagine this bald-looking ass Jeff Bezos individual in this like fancy-ass car almost kills you, and then the kid that you almost kill has a 6-foot sword that he takes one of your lights out with, and then leaves. Like, why would you try to cut that person off? Like,
That dude's
why?
gonna remember
Why'd you
that
take
for
that
a
risk?
long time.
Why would you take that risk?
so Daniel, you now have one of these. Gus, you have one. You know the big Banjo Brothers backpack?
Yeah.
Big Banjo
Love 'em.
Brothers. Haha, that's funny. And it's got those side pockets that are perfect for a bike lock.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whenever I'm riding places on my bike, I have that. And it's got the bike lock in it and usually other stuff, so it's pretty heavy. And probably the most common place I get cut off is riding up to an intersection. People that are going from the normal lane to like the right turn lane and just don't check their mirrors. And sometimes it's enough where I'm like, okay, actually, I'm never like, that was my bad, because look for the fucking bikes.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they get close enough that in my head I run through I could fully avoid this. And then I have I could avoid most of them and just catch their side view mirror with my backpack, with a bike lock in it and a bunch of other shit. And more often than not, I choose that route because side view mirrors, if you are a driver, your side view mirror has nothing on a bike lock in a backpack. There is no resistance there. So when I get cut off like that, I'll usually try to do like the whoop and kind of turn sideways so that my backpack's in there. And usually it's good because the people are always like, oh my god, are you okay? Because they cut me off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Could have been worse for you. And they're like, oh, I'm so like, oh, look, next time, blah, blah, blah. And I get their mirror almost every time. I get it, and they apologize to me. That's the best part.
About the Banjo Brothers backpacks, have you seen Ethan's? He bikes around in it so much that the side pocket that he puts the bike lock in is broken. Like, literally, he had to switch pockets because it fell out.
That is impressive. I didn't know you could break one of those things.
That's very impressive.
Every time I'd see it, normally the bike lock's like horizontal, right? His was like at a 45-degree angle.
Oh, man.
No, I don't want to be that guy. I'm an early class, and I'm ahead of you.
No,
We're behind. Who knows where you guys are? Ooh.
Why do you care? Why are you so secretive
we
of where
exist somewhere.
you are in relation to
I
us?
like that secretiveness.
I'll name
I
drop
like people.
your apartment.
The title of this episode
How
is
do you know I
just
live at
Daniel's address.
Actually, a lot of people from the church I used to go to probably don't know I'm even in Michigan because I just don't talk to them at all. They
He
come
said where
to
he
see
is.
nice- We already said that. They're probably like, oh, he just stopped coming to church because he's busy, and I'm like,
He's a sinner.
Yeah, I'm a sinner. So,
Yeah.
does someone want to bring up next week's or not next
yeah.
week's, next episode?
I was gonna say for next week at least we have the manga episode, which Gus will be hosting.
Can do that.
Interesting.
But otherwise, I think if you are hosting next week, Nicole, do you want to pick a show
Yes.
for us to watch for 2 weeks from now?
Yeah. It is right now.
While you're thinking about it, for Daniel and Gus and you, but you can keep thinking. I'm thinking we could totally do the same order as we did the anime episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or rather than like a top something list, we could just say your 10 favorite.
I think 10 is a lot.
Or we could do like
Maybe
you just say that because
you're like
you don't even have 10.
You're not approaching the 10K chapters, right? Alright, come on.
We could
Get
do
your numbers
like
up.
just to sort of fit with the theme of shit that people would do anime related for like years ago. Any of you ever do a 3x3 or see a 3x3? It's like
I remember we talked about
yeah,
this.
it's
but
like a top 10 list, except it's not 10 and it's only 9 and they're not in order. And instead of the names, you just put like the pictures of them in a little 3x3
Except
grid.
no one.
We'll post the
We
pictures.
can see the pictures.
We'll post the
That's
pictures.
all that
so you guys
matters.
can-
we will not say the names of what the pictures are. We will just
Just
look at the
describe.
pictures. We won't. No, we're not even gonna describe them. We'd be like, oh, I like that one.
That one is good.
Your 3x3 is good.
Nicole, you might enjoy that more as it will be a closer number to the number of total things you have read. So maybe you can
Okay.
finish
I'm
it
not
easier.
even close to 9. I'm illiterate. We've already established this.
We'll
Like,
let
I'll
you
have, like,
count, we'll let
one
you
or
count
two.
dojins
I'll have
in
2.
there.
I'll bring
If we're
2.
counting dojins,
What if we
I
count
don't
dojins?
We're
want
all
to
gonna get
put.
your numbers up.
I don't want to put the dojins.
Oh,
I read on
are
there.
we counting?
They don't
everything,
have them all.
everything?
Well, for you guys who maybe don't even have 9, we should save them for the dojin episode.
Yeah, we're saving it
For you that don't have 9, maybe just
Wait.
put what you have.
I think I have like 5. That's a nice number.
That's good. You can do a 2 by 2.5. You get 1 row of 3, 1 row of 2.
Daniel, I have 23 times more manga read than you.
Okay.
And that's just the ones that I put on anime list.
Anyways, Nicole, what do you think?
I have some ideas,
You
but
could
I want to choose the best
you
one.
won't make us read it.
I'm not gonna make.
I was thinking about something, but no way I would make you read like one of my favorites because you're getting like at least 100 chapters.
I mean, theoretically, that wouldn't be like that bad.
Yeah.
I could do 100 chapters in 2 days.
I have things to do. So maybe
You had things to do.
Yeah, now you've got another thing to do.
All right. What we're watching Quella Magi Madoka Magica.
How many fucking episodes is that?
It's 12.
Only 12?
Oh, that's what I make people read.
what is it?
Quella Magi Madoka Magica.
1 season.
Is it on Netflix?
Or alternatively, I can make you guys watch the movies.
Magica LGBT.
It's because they're gay. Or we could watch the movies because it will equal. There are 3 movies and they're the exact same story, but they have more at the end, and it's much better. And there's 3 of them.
We could do that.
Let's watch the movies then.
All 3 Madoka Magica movies?
I will send you the order because it has a watch order.
An order.
It ain't Shaft if it doesn't have a watch order.
Hell yeah. I am
Alright.
so psyched.
That works. Work for you
Alright.
guys?
Lovely.
Where do you watch the movies?
I will send links to...
Anymix.play.
I think it's Anymix.play. We have to redact that.
No, we don't.
No one else can use that.
True, we don't want it
Redacted.
getting popular.
Yeah.
We can't have another 4anime.to moment.
Tragic.
Alright.
Did that die?
Yes, I had an account on there with all my saved stuff. Truly a sad moment. Also, Manganello got, like, partially taken down, but now there's just another one.
They just changed it. I don't know what happened, but
I like Manga Dex. Manga Dex
is better.
I like it.
You
wouldn't understand.
I wouldn't.
Well, this has been another thrilling episode. I'm
Stellar,
going to piss
even.
myself. I've had
What a
so
great
much
way to
water
conclude.
over this podcast, and I'm just like, I need to piss. I need to go to bed.
classic water drinker.
Yeah.
Let's never do an evening recording ever again, because my brain just shuts down. Like the
Want us to do
listening
early
parts of my
morning?
brain completely shut down.
Early morning podcast.
6 a.m.
6
All right,
a.m.
next weekend, bright and early.
I mean,
Okay, honestly,
I could
be
leave it
really
up.
good at that.
Whoever's hosting, they can pick the time.
That's fair.
Get ready for the 2 a.m. manga episode.
That's
I'm
this
down.
is late night. That's why I'm waking up for that. All right.
Nah, I wake up.
Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next week for the manga episode.
week?
And in
Okay,
the
I'm
meantime,
confused because next week, Valentine's Day is not the next Monday, but the one after that.
If we do it, it'll just be somewhere in there.
Yeah.
If we do it,
Okay. So Valentine's episode is just maybe,
it's just a maybe.
but manga episode is the next one. Okay.
Yeah. Manga episode's the next one, and watch the Magica or Madoka
Madoka
Magica
Magica.
movies, so
Hell
you
yeah.
can know what the hell we're
Okay.
talking
What
about.
if I just watch the anime?
No, the movies are better. Like, significantly. And it's shorter than watching the anime, I think.
Just treat them like episodes.
But
Just
I
pause
you
randomly.
have to do not just click on Netflix and then play 12 episodes. All right.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you for listening to Subtitled Opinions. We will catch you next week.
Bye.
Love you.
Adios.
If you want more Subtitled Opinions, make sure to check out our Twitter, @SubtOpinions, and our YouTube, Subtitled Opinions, for updates on episodes, topic ideas, and general news about the show. See you all next week. Cheers.